There's a reason behind everything. Does it not stand to reason to say that the reason that low vibrational people only see the negatives of life is because that is the vibrational environment that they're operating in? In that atmosphere, there is no such thing as positivity. You know, if you go to Italy, all you're going to see is Italy. If you go to Italy, you're not going to see China. You got to go there to see it. And I'm not talking about looking at it in books or pictures or your phone. I'm saying the actual thing. You know, the actual country, China. You're not going to see China in Italy. So when you're in Italy, all you can see is Italy. That's what it has to offer. When you go to Spain, all you're going to see is Spain, Germany, Ireland, England, France. You get the picture. So that's exactly what happens. So you can't fault them for only seeing the aspects of life that do exist, by the way. This isn't imaginary. This is actual stuff. Because this world is comprised of a lot of horrendous things, man, and people that are doing those horrendous things. So you can't just pretend like, you know, I'm living in a positive, so therefore my positive will just make all of this stuff magically not even exist, and I'll just live in this delusional vacuum, this meditative Buddha bubble, and in that Buddha bubble, I'll just play a game with myself that says that I'm incapable of being negative or angry, and I can never hurt anybody, and I don't have any darkness, and I'm, you know, even Jesus is evil and dark. You know, because we all come from source. You know, absolutely. That's the misconception of God. God is a lovely white man, an old man with a beard and a whole white robe and the staff, and lives up in the sky, and he's got his sheep and his flock, and you know all that. It's all a bunch of bunk. It's a bunch of bunk. You know, the crucifix is a symbol of execution, but they didn't crucify Christ first. They actually hung him because he was black and because he came onto the scene and wanted to enlighten people. He was telling the truth that we're all God's chosen, not just this type of people, the Jewish people, the Hebrews, the Israelites. They're not God's chosen. There's no such thing. Even in spirituality, they refer to the chosen ones, the 144,000 chosen ones. That's all nonsense. Because what you're doing is you're creating a classification again, and you're making everyone else feel bad for themselves. So you're taking the chosen ones and putting them here, and everybody else is down here. And that's exactly the intended effect. And that's nothing to do with spirit and everything to do with racism and classism. And any ism is a schism, except optimism. And no, I'm not talking about autism. I'm talking about, you know, a state of being. You know, capitalism, socialism, totalitarianism, fascism. You see where I'm going with it. These are just schisms. The word schism means breach, division, conflict. That's what it does. And that's what it means. And that's why they are the way they are. So the reason why negative people can only see the negatives of life is because they're recognizing elements of energy that do exist, that are real, they're prevalent, they're there every day, but they're operating in an environment that doesn't allow them to see anything else other than that. That's why I tell you, create a sacred space of a high vibrational environment, but be realistic about this creation. Don't just put elements of that nature. You've got to recognize all things, because that's where you get your balance from, and your symmetry, and your equilibrium, and your alignment, and your harmony. Harmony comes from all of your past experiences. Now, the last time I checked, I've never met anyone in my life who hasn't been put through heartache or pain or suffering at some point. That's the reason why you're such an amazing person now. Because if all of those experiences were light and fluffy and sunshine and happiness, you would be nothing as far as a person. You know, you wouldn't have any character to you. You know, you wouldn't have any significant and substantial traits inside of you that are worthy, or they would be inconsequential, because you'd have all of these quantitative experiences with no qualitative value. That's why pain is a prevalent object lesson of life. It teaches us to heal ourselves so we can be free and forgive. That's why you see it every day. That's why you experience it. Everybody's been put through pain from others. You know, only human beings will put you through pain. There won't be dogs or cats doing it to you, which should give you a gigantic heads up. But nonetheless, when you're high vibrational and optimistic, that's the environment you operate in. When you're low vibrational and negative, that's the environment you operate in. It doesn't mean there's anything wrong with it. You just have to recognize they can't see what's not there, because not transmitting those frequencies and not broadcasting, they're not a vibrational equivalent to these things. So there you go. So you can't fault them. The only thing you could do is remove yourself from their company if they're unbearable. But recognize that whatever has been done to them has been done to them from somebody else. Some people are just born low vibrational. Some people are born evil. It's just the way it is. That's the diversification of the energies and the frequencies of this planet. There isn't just one frequency. There are infinite frequencies, and they exist for reasons that far exceed our mortal comprehension. So, you gotta factor all these things into the equation of life. This is a part of, the unity of things and the division, because without division there is no unity. Without dark there is no light, because there's no contrast to bring to this, because light on light means it cancels each other out. Dark on dark cancels each other out. When you make a painting and you use only black, right? You have just black. So you use a black background, then you start painting black images and black trees, you won't see anything. Same thing if you use only white. If you use just white paint and then you start painting white trees and white clouds and white mountains, you're not going to see anything. Am I wrong? You see where this is going? This is the reason why these things exist, whether you want to accept it or not or believe it or not. It's the truth. Why do you think we have different everything out here? Not just different looking people, different color, shapes. Every tree isn't the same. There's something like 200 different types of apples. They're all different on the outside, but when you cut them open, they're all the same in the middle. I think the universe is trying to tell us something there. For example, look at black people. They're proud to be black, but all they have to do is look at the palms of their hands and the soles of their feet, and that'll tell them how black they are. Because we're all the same. The outer packaging doesn't mean anything. That's just for the diversification of this planet. The last time I checked, God never called you black, and God never called you white. You think God ever will? No. The system labeled you that. The universe that created you never called you a color. It doesn't identify by a color. You're a frequency that's equal to everything and everyone, equal within the eyes of the Almighty. But that doesn't work in a system of division and chaos. They can't control unity. And we go back to that whole paradigm again. And I'm not opening up that Pandora's box. Not on this video or any other. I'm done with that subject. But anyway, that's the reason why low vibrational people only see negatives in life, because they're actually seeing what's prevalent. You can't tell me that negativity doesn't exist in this world. No matter how good you are, no matter how high you vibrate, that will not nullify the reality of what's going on these days and has been going on for centuries. It's just that true.